What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. What's up? What's up? What's up, guys? I'm going to wait for a few minutes and let you get into the chat room. Big shout out to the African Superstar family. My name is Gina Ifowe. I am the one and only African Superstar, and I'm back in the building. I want to talk about this topic tonight, which is a year after George Floyd. Has anything changed? There are some people that always try to, contend with my promotion of the continent and my solution of us migrating and being here and so on and so forth. But I just kind of want to touch on this topic because this is a this is a relatively recent occurrence. And a year has just passed. Earlier this week, a year has passed since George Floyd was, violently murdered by police officers. And I want to pose this question and ask, has anything changed? So, guys, when you come into the chat room, please make sure that you're on code. Okay? Happy Friday. Happy weekend, guys. Turn up in the building. Yes, it's me. It's me. It's me. So we're going to wait a couple minutes for people to kind of file in, and then we're going to get the topic popping, okay? All right, guys, good evening. Welcome to the chat. Please make sure that you get on this stream. We're going to talk about this tonight, okay? And I will open up the call lines and see what all of you have to say about it. Definitely what goes on in America, what has been going on in America for centuries was a huge proponent of me deciding to make the decision that I made several years ago to leave America. I was not ignorant to the fact that many people had gone before me and paid with their lives because of the racism, the violence, the systematic racism, and even when they tried to challenge the system and tried to, push initiatives and push change, a lot of them paid with their lives. And there are a handful of them that we know, and there are, dozens that we don't know. And some of you guys are back in America and you're saying, well, Gina, we can't all go to Africa and we can't do this, we can't do that. Well, I just want to ask you the question, a year after George Floyd, has anything changed? Was George Floyd the last victim of police brutality? Have there been initiatives? From what I understand, there has actually been an anti-Asian hate bill that passed. Okay. And the utter disrespect that, I believe that Black Americans just, tolerate is unbelievable. Because I don't know if they realize, they have been there so long, they should be established for all case in point for everything that our people have contributed and put in. But looking at them modern day, they're more destabilized than ever. We have individuals here and there, and we cannot in any way define the success of a nation off these individuals, not when there's millions to be counted. The question is tonight, anything changed? Do you living in America feel safer there today than you did a year ago? Because if you start putting it in perspective, okay, you start thinking about, not just George Floyd, but other victims that kind of preceded him. You can even think back, to Emmett Till. You can think about Rodney King. There were so many victims of similar instances. And You know, the reality is, unfortunately, decades are barreling by and things are not changing in the West. They're not changing in the West. Actually, they can be seen or perceived to be getting actually worse. So what's prohibiting you from making the move to the continent? You know, the older we get, I swear time just really becomes more rapid. Because I really didn't realize until it was all in the media and they were doing interviews and all this kind of stuff that actually a year had gone by since George Floyd. I remember where I was this time last year. You know, I was, still in the UK. I was in the lockdown parameters. I couldn't travel and things like that. Originally going into 2020, I had plans of migrating to Ghana in June, you know, prior to my birthday, but the borders were closed, so I wasn't able to do that. And I remember actually getting a phone call from African Tigress. Big shout outs to my homegirl, African Tigress. The day that the news broke about George Floyd, and I remember doing quite a candid live stream about my thoughts and opinions, and it is parallel to how I feel today. I don't believe that things are going to improve in the West for our people, and I think that's why it's very important for us to seek out alternative options if we care about our lives, if we care about our children, if we care about our lineage. Then we got to be ready to take the necessary moves. You know, you want to maybe fight and contend and push your initiatives, but think about all the people that have tried that method. Okay, the method of coming to the continent and establishing yourself here has been widely underestimated and not, wildly hailed as a normal precursor to these things. So I think we should try that and examine that. Obviously, I do, because it's what I have chosen to do and what I promote you guys to do. You know, a year has passed by, and in my opinion, nothing has changed. What's up, guys? If you're here, let me see you in the chat room today. Drop me something about this topic. Big shout outs, Black Beauty's the first. Thank you so much, sweetie. Yeah. So, I'm going to open up the call lines in a moment after commercial break to see what you guys think about it. Am I missing something? Obviously, I don't live in America. So I don't know if there's been some kind of huge shift. I don't know if things are safer than ever for my people. Last time I checked, instances of police brutality have been ongoing ever since George Floyd. We don't even need to look back that far to see that things are not changing in America. We don't. Some of you guys, yeah, I know you guys are like very hopeful individuals. You're like, yeah, anything's possible, Gina. You never know. Anything can happen. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, well, if you don't want to reference historical references, like you don't want to go back, centuries when the same stuff has been going on, you can just go back a year. That's why I'm talking about George Floyd. I want to know, has anything changed for those of you living in America? What's up? What has changed? Because that is the moniker that you can use as to pinpoint your future, being realistic. What's up? Black Beauty says nothing has changed. So she's spoken from her perspective. I've spoken from my perspective. What do you guys think? The other viewers. Okay, because I remember vividly, I'll tell you guys this story. I remember vividly when I started going through like the racism on the job. I used to work for JP Morgan Chase. And, when I started out at the bank, I was very ambitious in regards to what I was going to be able to accomplish there, because I knew I had the tenacity to excel in the corporate world. When I started kind of encountering those different roadblocks, I then went back into my mind to, stories that my mom had told me. I remember seeing my mom and a very good friend of hers. Big shout outs to Miss Mary, one of my mom's very good friends in Columbus, Ohio. I remember me and her son Justin, our moms would get together and they could talk for hours about a lot of the nonsense that was happening to them at their workplace. You know, how their bosses were racist, how they were mistreating them, how they were always trying to sabotage their work and set them up and blah, blah, blah. I remember when I got into the workplace, all those instances, you know, as my colleagues from the university also went into different corporate settings and they would talk about their experiences. And I realized in that moment that, wow, you know, my mom obviously is some several decades older than me. And I thought, okay, well, this was going on in her lifetime. All right. And then my grandparents would share stories with me. This was going on in their lifetime. And then what I knew about, you know, even further beyond great grandparents, historical stuff, this stuff was going on then. I realized, hey, this stuff's not about to change. This stuff is not about to change. That's the reality that you're in. That's the reality. Is it fair? Is it right? No. But it is what it is. You know? And really, if you care about your life, you're going to be ready to take inventory of it as it is. You know, you're going to be realistic about where you stand and how you're going to be able to achieve your goals. Sometimes people really make a big fuss about me, and I make a concerted effort to be very humble because, in my opinion, I'm not an extraordinary person. I'm simply a woman of action. I guess maybe in this day and age where a lot of people do so much talking, a person of action may be extraordinary. But the reality is I, you know, was able to identify the problem, okay, the problem of where I was living, the probability of that thing changing or moving in a positive direction. You know, if we want to be honest, guys, those of you out in the West, we don't even see the infrastructure being erected for these things to change. You know, we could have more cognitive dissonance if we saw things changing maybe gradually. We could say, you know what, Gina, you know, it's been a year since George Floyd, but this and this and this and this has taken place to kind of give us hope that maybe things will improve in the future. If we want to be realistic, we don't even see strides. So someone like me looked at the problem, just took an analysis of it, came to the conclusion that the probability of this thing changing during my lifetime, when so many other people's lifetimes have been exhausted without seeing the change. Even our ancestors that manned and sacrificed during civil rights time. Huh? Okay. Those of you guys that are watching me today, first trivia question. If you have heard some of the things that those civil rights protesters and activists went through to get, you know, the legislation passed, go ahead and put a number 1. What's up, family? You guys are kind of quiet today, but don't do that because you know what happens. What's up? What's up? Antonio is with me. He says it's over for Black people in America. It's a writ. It's a wrap. Okay, first trivia question was, do you know some of the things that our ancestors went through during civil rights to get the things passed? Do you know that they did a boycott for a year? They did an economic boycott for a whole year. They were hosed. They had dogs sicked on them. They were being lynched. They were being beaten. You know, they were being jumped and assaulted, blackballed from their jobs, all kind of stuff because they wanted to stand for the principles. Now, imagine all that stuff took place in the 60s. And in 2021, people are still hands up, don't shoot. I'm going to go ahead and agree with Antonio and say it's a wrap. It's over. It's time for the next chess move. And like I said, if you don't even want to, if you just want to be stubborn and you don't even want to look that far, you want to say, well, Gina, you know, because some of you guys that are very religious, you're like, it's in the past, you know, let's worry about tomorrow. Okay, well, let's just talk about the last year. Look at the racial climate in these Western settings. Look at it. Look at it. And real talk, who are you? Who are you really to them that it's not going to apply to you? Who are you? Who the hell was George Floyd? Nobody knew who George Floyd was beyond his family and stuff like that before he was murdered. That's what's actually defined who George Floyd was. George Floyd was a big black man who became a victim of police brutality in America. You know, they didn't care about his relationship with his daughter, you know, the kind of friend he was. I've seen all kind of testimonials come out, you know, after his death about the kind of man he was and the kind of things he did and blah, blah, blah. The reality is, guys, hey, when they see you, when they see Tito, they don't know that man. Huh? When they see Watching the Hawk, they don't know him. When they see Z1, they don't know you. And they don't care. Please, 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 my viewers, do not choose to become a casualty in a losing battle. Okay? Because you want to be, you know, you want to be the renegade, and you want to be like, you know, the most visible, most vocal person and stuff like that. It's a losing battle. Okay, it's a losing battle. Get yourself to safety. I know that the option of migrating, it's quite involved. It can be complex. It can be expensive. It can be difficult. But guess what? At least you can live to tell the story. You can live to see another day. You can greatly reduce the chances of your children becoming victims or your family, whoever you bring with you, by simply changing their environment. Huh? Second trivia question. Okay, first trivia question was, do you know the sacrifices that our ancestors went through during civil rights time? Second trivia question is, do you know what a refugee is? Okay, who can answer that first? Tito says they're giving more money to fund the police after his murder. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? That's a statement. Like I mentioned, they've already passed the anti-Asian hate bill to protect the Asian community. There has been no recompense to the blacks since Ben Pimpin. Second trivia question is, do you know what a refugee is? Maybe you have met refugees in the past. Right? What's up, guys? If you're here, please make sure you get the like. I haven't even actually seen a like count. Where are my moderators? What are you guys doing? Are you here? I know you guys are a little quiet. Maybe you're thinking over the topic. Maybe you're thinking over the topic, but that's good, because that's what my content is about. It's meant to be thought-provoking, because when you can start thinking critically and making analysis and strategizing, you can start changing the dynamics of your future, because you can make educated decisions about things. And I just want you to take this last year and analyze this last year. A lot of stuff has happened. GI says, where's that anti-African hate bill? Facts. But again, we know, and Michael Jackson told us a long time ago, all I want to say is that they don't really care about us. Hold on, guys. I'm having some technical difficulties. Hold on just a moment. I am still here. Just give me a moment, guys. I'm having a technical difficulty. Hold on. I'm going to be right back with you. Don't forget the second trivia question, guys. I'm waiting for the second trivia question. Do you know what a refugee is? Okay. Antoinette is also telling you to like the stream and subscribe to the channel if you are one of those people lurking on our channel today. I'm going to actually pull up the definition of what a refugee is but I'm pretty sure you guys know refugees or understand what they represent. It's better to be a refugee, all right, than a corpse. Okay, it's better to be alive than be dead and be an afterthought. Okay, Tito says refugees are people usually displaced by war or violence. Very good. The actual definition, according to online, says a person who has been forced to leave their country in order to escape war, persecution, or natural disaster. Okay, so living in America, you may have encountered people that have come from some war areas, people like Syria, people have come from Somalia, some people have come from the Sudan. These are places that have had, really ongoing conflicts. Here in Ghana, we have, a growing Nigerian population, a lot of things that's going on in Nigeria, and they are coming to Ghana, which borders them. A smart person says, this environment is dangerous as hell. And I need to evacuate. I think you guys are pretty smart. The writing is on the wall. A year has already passed. You haven't seen a stitch of change. The things that you've actually seen are actually slaps in the face of the Black community in America. How dare they make a big fuss about whatever the Asian community is moaning about? When has there been an instance of police brutality against the Asian community? Do we see T-shirts with Zing Me, or Bruce Lee, I can't breathe, get off my neck, dying in police custody, having guns or paraphernalia planted on them, huh? But they managed to get their legislation through the government already. Black Americans got to come to the reality that they are not cared for or valued in that setting. It's time to protect yourself. If it means that you become a refugee, so be it. It's better than being dead. It's better than, sleeping with one eye open. Because the reality is, every time every day you're going out into that community, you are playing Russian roulette with your life, just like all the other victims. None of them, went to school and prepared to become a hashtag when they grew up. None of them had that intention. Probably even when they found themselves in those situations, they still believed that they were going to be able to neutralize the situation and get out. Certainly, I believe George Floyd was very terrified. If you look at the video, he was, asking the police officers not to shoot him. He was, begging for his life, calling for his mom. He absolutely knew that the potential for him to be killed was very, very high in that situation. Now, contrarily, if George Floyd was here in Ghana, George Floyd was in Kenya, George Floyd was in South Africa, his probabilities of being involved in that same instance have plummeted significantly. So big shout outs, guys, to the family. I'm going to open up these call lines right after this commercial break. So please stay tuned. I gotta showcase my new products on the AfricanSuperstar.com. Please head over and check out our new swimwear line. Okay, thank you for your attention. After that message from our sponsors, that is my new swimwear line. I have sizes up to 3XL. So please head over and check out what I have for the ladies. Fellas, your turn is coming soon. We're going to bring some tank tops, t-shirts, and shorts to the website next week for you. So if you are not on my mailing list, head over to theafricansuperstar.com. It's scrolling across the bottom of your screen, but it is theafricansuperstar.com. Get on our mailing list. That way you will be able to receive updates about what's going on the website. Okay? Thank you, Antoinette. Yeah, I tried to make it, hot. I try to design products that I would wear myself, and definitely to make a statement, because I know Black people are flashy. We like bright colors. We like distinct stuff. Trust me, when you're walking around with African Superstar, your confidence is going to be on fleek. And I want to take over the beach this summer. So I put out lots of great designs. I ship worldwide. So, we had an order even placed to Ghana. Big shout out to Terry. She ordered to Ghana a couple days ago. So I do ship worldwide. If you're in Canada, you're Australia, Europe, America, Mexico, whatever, you can still shop with me on the AfricanSuperstar.com. Okay, guys, the link is there. So I want to hear from you, especially those of you guys, if you're in America. Has anything changed? I'm not in America. I haven't lived there for years, and I haven't actually traveled to the States since 2019, because of COVID. So I don't know what's going on there. If you see something that I don't see, I stand to be corrected. But from my perspective, much like when I was living in the US and even before I moved, things are not changing for our people. We should be, theoretically very well established in America for the amount of time that we've been there. We should have, deep families and generational wealth and huge corporations. Where is it? We should have a level of respect and safety. After all, we're born and raised there, right? We are Americans. We are British, whatever. But you look at the state of us, and it's very sad. It's very concerning. I think this solution of reconnecting to the motherland, it has been echoed through so many leaders in the past. It has been echoed through so many leaders of the past. That's why I'd say that I don't see myself as extraordinary. The blueprint has already been presented. And the reality that we're not experiencing change in our current environment is blaring. It's obvious. It's obvious. And when you really want results, you've got to take your initiatives beyond, the brainstorming part or the talking part or the intolerance part. You've got to figure out how to implement it. In all reality, what can we do about the situation that is going on in America? What can we do? What can we do about how we're treated in the UK? Tito says, if anything may be changed for the worse. Legally, they have attacked the teaching of critical race theory. Voter suppression laws are being passed and more police funding. Sarah says, change. We seem to have changed for the worse. More violence, less opportunities, less stability. So those are some changes, but they're not positive ones. Sometimes I get viewers on here and they're like, but Gina, what can we do in America? Listen, the reality is the writing is on the wall. Stop being stubborn and take a dose of the reality of where you are. If that's not enough, the historical connotations should seal the deal for you. Everything that has happened to our ancestors, the experiences, our life experience, the experiences of our peers, of our family, of our ancestors. I mean, we can't even compile, all the reasons why that environment is not safe or conducive for our success. I mean, probably I have very high ceilings in my place. And I probably, even if You know, I filled out a small sheet of paper, like about this size. I bet I could fill up this room to the ceiling. You know, let me see if I can show y'all my ceiling. Y'all see it? No, y'all can't see it. It's very tall in my house. But I bet I could fill this room up if, you know, with reasons and examples and experiences of why we shouldn't be there. And the reality, guys, how much do you need to take? How many cases of brutality do you need to see? How much stereotypical, you know, visions on television do you need to see? How long does your kid gotta be bullied? Huh? How many sneak disses are you willing to take in the office and in society? What, you know, like, that's the thing. I'm not a punk, okay? And excuse my language, I'm not a bitch. I'm nobody's peon. I can't just sit there while people are disrespecting me, you know, prohibiting my upward mobility, sneak dissing on me, you know, talking to me in a condescending way. My goal was, where can I be at that I don't have to encounter that on a regular basis? And it's here on the continent. You know, so many other diasporans will attest to the fact that when they move here, you know, they feel more calm. They feel more laid back. They lose weight. You know, they sleep better. You know, their anger calms and subsides. You know, they become more patient. They become more, you know, why is that? Because of the difference in the environment. When you're in a setting like America, you got to be on guard 24/7. You know, you got to watch your mouth. You got to watch your actions because you're constantly under a microscope. That is no way to live. That's a lot of pressure and stress on you, and it can affect your health. So guys, listen, it's a few of y'all here. The call lines are open, okay? The topic is what has changed since George Floyd. Let me hear from you. Don't be shy, okay? Let's do this call-in show tonight. Please make sure you're on code. I know the lights is up, right? I think so. Don't be shy, guys. Do not be shy today. I don't think that there's been any significant changes since George Floyd has died. Realistically, I mean, we can even say that he died in vain, really. You know, they took his life, and what have we benefited or gained from his death? You know, where's the George Floyd bill? You know, what's going on with these police that are regularly doing this? You know, most of us know, dealing with white people, they're very consequential kind of people, okay? They always want things to be done by the book when it pertains to them, all right? Which means if the consequences for their behavior was increased, it would immediately cause many of them to adhere, because they don't like consequences. They don't like having to pay for their actions. Okay, we as Black people are used to it because we don't get away with a lot of things, but they get away with a lot. So if their justice system was actually fair, and for this crime, this was going to be the punishment, I mean, it would immediately cut out a lot of this activity. But see, it's the fact that they know that they can get out of Dodge, they can get out of trouble. They're not going to lose. They're not going to suffer. They're not going to go to prison. That keeps them doing whatever. It's the fact they know we can't retaliate against them. I'm going to tell y'all a little story. So when I was living in the UK, I worked at a mental institution, okay? And I dealt with a lot of non-Black patients and things like that. And it was amazing how when we were in the ward, they were abusive. They were, they would get physically abusive. They would get verbally abusive. They were, racist, things like that. But if they knew that they had, something upcoming, an event that they wanted to attend or a family visit, it was amazing how they could get their their act together to be able to, make sure that they could facilitate whatever it was that they wanted. This does nothing but confirm what I'm talking about in regards to the consequences. They have no consequence, and that's why they're not motivated to change anything. I'm pretty sure when this Asian, legislation went up, there was something potentially on the table for them to lose. The Asians said, hey, we're going to move our business out of here. We're going to stop supporting your campaign. We're going to do, and probably a lot of the things that, were raised were probably fiscal, because a lot of people, they don't care about talking. All they care about is money. That's where our people got it twisted, because we're very emotional and we want to talk. We want to pour our emotions out. But the real world doesn't care about all that. The real world only cares about money. So when these Asians went to, the government and said, hey, look, you better do something about these hate crimes against the Asian community. If you don't, you're going to lose out. I'm pretty sure, I don't even know the nature of the conversation, but I'm 99% sure that's how it went. The Asian community threatened the American government with consequences if they did not get what they wanted. And voila, what happened? They got their bill straight through. They got their bill straight through. Meanwhile, the Black community is still hitting them up with the picket signs. Guys, the call lines are open. I'm going to wrap up soon if I don't get any callers. It's 20 of y'all here. It's a simple question, which is, has anything changed since George Floyd? Okay, that's what I want to hear from, because we still have a lot of people that are in the West and they're in La La Land. Okay, they're still hoping for world peace. They're hoping for Jesus Christ. They're hoping for humanity. They watch these court cases like, oh, did you know that the police that killed George Floyd are going to the court today? I mean, they do all this stuff, and it's like, look, you are detached from reality, because the probability is not in our favor for change. We need to take it to the next level and do something different. I'm always saying the same stuff here. Sometimes I feel like a broken record. Because I keep telling you all the same stuff. I keep just trying to promote you to have a logical view on this, and encouraging you not to think more of yourself than you are. You think that, your PhD is going to save you. You think that the fact that you live in an affluent neighborhood is going to save you. You think the fact that you're cooning or you're in an interracial relationship is going to save you. You think the fact that you're articulate and you make a lot of money and you work in the corporate world is going to save you. None of it cannot save you. It doesn't really matter. If you just step out of yourself and realize that you are Black first, you realize that you are now in position to become a victim, just like maybe the most, derelict person in our community. And that's why it should matter. And that's why you should take provisions while you have the chance. The reaction of what happens when these instances of police brutality happen are so redundant, nobody even pays attention anymore. We've all seen the crying mother, the Black woman. A lot of times she'll even be religious and say, I forgive you. My son would want me to forgive you. And, I love you in Jesus' name, and all this type of nonsense. I tell you right now, you kill some of my family members, I'm not forgiving you. No. You better sleep with one eye open, because I'm coming for some retaliation. I'm just being 100% honest. Okay, ain't gonna be no kumbaya and vigils or none of that nonsense. No. And I'm not forgiving you. You know? So big shout out to the African Superstar family. I guess you guys are too quiet tonight. This is a call-in show, so I banked on the fact that you guys were gonna assist me with this topic. But you guys are being shy tonight. So let me not hold you too long on Friday. So you can get back to your regularly scheduled life. Okay. Big shout outs to the African Superstar family. Thank you for all of you guys that came out and watched me today. Big shout outs to the customers of the AfricanSuperstar.com. Please, again, go check out my new merchandise, www.theafricansuperstar.com. If you're not a part of our platform, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. You can connect with me here, Facebook, Instagram. It's really important that you do that because, you know, I'm a truth talker. So I'm in the path of reprimand. And if I need to communicate with you, it's important to have multiple, you know, outlets to do that. So please do find me on Facebook, Instagram, and, you know, here on YouTube. Until we meet again, stay black and true. If you ain't black, just stay true.